Hello, this is about making the most of everything. An overripe banana, a Cavendish banana. If it happened to be a ladyfinger banana, it would need all these markings on, but a Cavendish is better when it's bright yellow. But for making banana pancakes or banana cake, which I'm not doing today, but I am doing a pancake, it's just perfect. I decided to try and make these with spelt flour because when shopping in the supermarkets we're finding that the flours that are still readily available, at least here in the Barossa, are the spelt, the coconut, the besan flour. So let's make the most of them. Now, I just need to mash the banana. Where's my fork? I'm going to add an egg. Well, instead, I'm going to add 2 baby eggs that my chooks are producing. My chooks are recalcitrant at the moment, but we have some young ones that have been introduced, and so their eggs are really baby. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of brown sugar to the banana. Oops, nothing lost much. I'll just put that away. And if you were making to the same recipe, you'd use one jumbo egg, whereas my 2 little bantam size eggs will be the equivalent. So the sugar actually helps the banana to mash. And I do remember it's such comfort food for me as a child. When I wasn't well, my mum would mash a ripe banana, put a tiny touch of sugar with it, and that would be a super treat. But we're going to just turn this into a pancake instead. So there, that's mashed. Now you can see how tiny these eggs are, which is why I'm saying the equivalent would definitely be a jumbo. Beautiful yolks. I'll just mix all that in. Whisk it. Then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of full cream milk. The little bits of lumps won't matter at all of the banana, if there are any left. So 1/2 cup of milk. Oops. That'll do. Now, every time you use flour, the amount of liquid can be something that has to be adjusted. It will depend on whether there's humidity, depends on how old the flour is, what type of flour it is. So we're going with the fact that we may need some more milk, but at the moment I'm just letting it be. I'm going to sift the flour and the other dry ingredients. Because the spelt flour is a plain flour, I need a teaspoon of salt, and I need some bicarb soda. Bicarb soda, same as baking soda, very handy to have in the cupboard. And I better put my glasses on to make sure I've used a full teaspoon and not a 1/2. Whoops. Oh, it's a 1/2 teaspoon. I'll just use a little more salt, and I'll use 2 1/2 teaspoons, quite scant, and that will give the same raising agent if you were to buy self-raising flour. So I'll just sift all those ingredients together. Perhaps I'll add the liquid to the flour. You can add it the other way. And just mixing it as we go. Now, the idea is not to overmix, but I can see that that is not enough flour for that amount of mixture. So I'm going to sift another half a cup of flour and see how much I need. Let me get some more. I'll actually start with a quarter of a cup more. To see if I get the right consistency. And that's always the way. You always have to make that judgment. And now I'm going to let that mixture rest. So I'm going to sit on this for 10 minutes. It's always best to leave the mixture before you start. And then we'll just pan fry in a little bit of butter and see how they turn out. All right, 10 minutes, just leaving it rest. Okay, I've just had one more ripe banana, not quite as ripe, but I've squeezed a little bit of lemon over because banana will oxidize really quickly. And I'm going to cook these in butter. So I'll probably use a dessert spoon of butter onto a hot pan, just enough to really start a sizzle. And then once the sizzle has happened, I will add just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil because I don't want the butter to burn. And so hot pan. Now, because this is pleasing my palate, it may not please yours because I don't use a lot of sugar. I've only used 1 tablespoon of sugar. So these banana pancakes are a little on the savoury side, but there are options. Perhaps going another half tablespoon of brown sugar. I've got some honey to the side, and I've got that beautiful acidic quark as well to be able to match everyone's palate. And then I've got the banana, that second banana that was ripe. Now, that's sizzling and it's just starting. I can smell the butter. So that's when I put perhaps 2 teaspoons of the oil in, and that's just to stop it burning. Right. Now, this is rested for 10 minutes. And I'll just wait till I get that sizzle again. This is a heavy base pan. It would be very different. Can you hear it just starting to sizzle? We're only doing this on my phone, so it's not that sophisticated, but I can hear it. But I would rather work with a heavy base pan because I've got more control. Doesn't mean that you can't do it if you've got a thinner pan. 3. This, if I didn't use all this batter, I could definitely put it away and use it for breakfast tomorrow morning. I might bring it out for a little while before I used it so it's more at room temp. Oops. 4 is enough in that pan, and looking at that mix would make 8 of these small pancakes, large pikelets. whatever you want to call. And this is using the spelt flour. Really, spelt has got a really nutty flavour, which is why I thought it would go really well with the banana. But also, it would be interesting to use almond milk instead of the milk, because those flavours again would all marry so beautifully. Don't think because you don't drink milk that you can't use an alternative milk. But sometimes there's a bit of trial and error, as you saw with me, how I had to add that extra 1/4 cup of flour. This is interesting because of the spelt. It's much deeper colour, even though I put the oil in to stop the butter from browning. And they're puffing up beautifully. Of course, the thing to do is remember in your head which one you put in first. These are only going to need a minute per side. We don't want them to be gluey in the middle. And they're going to be a lovely snack for any age. Okay, I'm going to actually turn off the pan now. It will continue to cook because of the huge the heat that is in this very heavy pan. And that's another decision you make. There is no doubt the spelt flour is that far darker, but I also know it's a really fantastic taste. Now I have all these possibilities. The quark I know will go so well. And I talked about quark being so full of protein, so even though this is a snack, more likely to have protein to go with it is really important that we have protein all through the day. All right, let me finish this off. I'm going to put some quark, perhaps some banana. Now this honey from a friend is so thick and lustrous and fabulous, but it's hard to pour. Let's see. It's risen beautifully, but it's also very, very brown. So let's put this and a bit of banana, and I'm not going to have it with the honey. For me, that's perfect. If you've got a sweet tooth, you'll want it with the honey. Each to his own, as they say. So moreish.